Good morning, guys. So, can everybody see me and hear me? Can you just confirm once?
Yes.
All right, great. So, welcome to your philosophy class. I will be taking your philosophy and pranayam sessions for this month. So, I'll give a short introduction of myself and then we'll take a short introduction of you guys before we begin our session today. Right. So, I am Yogini Soumya and I will be conducting both your philosophy and pranayam classes for this month. And we are going to meet very regularly, so it's 6 days in a week that we have live classes. So we are only going to have one day off. So I hope you guys enjoy, right, the classes. And we are just starting our course, right? So keep an open mind and try to absorb as much as you can, especially when it comes to philosophy. There are a lot of doubts and a lot of contradictions in the mind. So for now, just empty your cups and be open, and then we'll discuss more and more, and as we do, we'll see what suits us best, right? So let's go for an introduction of you guys, right? So you can just unmute yourselves and introduce yourselves one by one.
Hi, good morning. My name is Viraya and I'm from Mumbai, India. And I'm very new to yoga. I took few classes during lockdown and I very much like the practice. So decided to go ahead with the teacher training program.
Awesome, great. All right, who is going next?
Hello, good morning. My name is Kim. I come from Germany, and I started yoga, I guess, about 8 years ago. And I started the first part of my teacher training in Germany, and now I'm really glad to do the second part in India. So thanks a lot.
Awesome. What time is it at your end?
It's now 6:30 a.m. It's okay.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So it's morning. Okay. We are on the same level right now. All right. Yeah.
Hi, good morning. My name is Vunda and I'm a physical therapist. So I joined the teachers training course on the 17th last month, but it was getting somewhere halfway, so it was difficult for me to catch up. So I thought let's give it a go from the new session. So yes, this is me joining again, and I hope that I can get all the training as much as possible. 1 month is a short time, but let's see, we can learn from each other.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. And who is last? Um, I'm not too sure if I'll pronounce her name correct. Giannia. Yeah. Can you see me, hear me?
Yeah, hello.
Audio is off. Hi.
Hi,
Yeah. So you can just give a short introduction.
yeah, I'm Giannina. I'm from Bali.
I can't hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, now I can. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Giannina and I'm from Bali.
Again, it's gone.
Hello. Yeah, hello.
Yeah,
I
now
took
it's back.
200 hour in Bali last year.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So, guys, I think we can begin today's class. So, all of you sit straight wherever you are. Keep your back and neck straight and very gently close your eyes. And bring your mind to your breathing. Just observe the natural flow of your breathing. Don't change your breathing. Keeping the eyes closed, stay as connected to your breath as possible. Slowly shift your attention to your body. Just check that you are sitting comfortably. Your face, neck, and shoulders should be relaxed. And your back should remain straight. Slowly bring your mind back to your breathing. Consciously begin to deepen the breathing now. So go for slow, long, and deep inhalations. Slow, long, and deep exhalations. We will chant Om 3 times, followed by 3 Shantis. Inhale deeply for Om. 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 Shanti. 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 Just observe the vibrations. Join both your palms together and begin to rub both your palms. Keep your palms on your eyes. Very slowly, while blinking and looking at your palms, begin to open up your eyes, start coming back with a big smile. And namaste to everyone. Let us begin our session for today. All right. So this is your yoga philosophy class, like I told you guys, right? So here we are going to have a lot of discussions on what you are doing in your other classes, right? So my subject, it's only going to tell you what you are doing in your other classes, right? But it's going to change your perspective, right, on what you are doing. So it's not going to tell you what you have to do, right? But it's going to tell you how you have to do it, right? What is the mind? What is supposed to be the state of the mind? And I will give you simple tricks also in your classes so that you can implement certain things in your life, right? Apart from your other practices, I will give you some simple tricks that you can work on in your everyday life, right? Because it's the little things that will eventually add and make a bigger change, right? Another thing, right? So before I begin my classes, I always tell my students, okay, so I'm not here to offend anybody, right? I am not here to impose a way of thinking on anyone. Yoga philosophy is one of the philosophies. So if you want to choose some other philosophy, you can, right? But since you are learning yoga, right? So you also need to know the basis and the background. What is the foundation of what you are doing, right? And this class is going to be about that. All right. So whatever you like, whatever you practice, experiment with, and you like, you can keep it with you. All right. And rest you can leave aside, right? That doesn't mean if one thing it's not fitting with you, you're not liking it, you have to throw away everything, right? So you can keep the things that you like, which are going to help you in your life, and you can leave the rest behind. But don't be so rigid that you leave all of it behind. All right. That is the only level of openness I ask my students to keep. All right. And experiment, become scientists now, right? Yoga is a science, right? So we are going to experiment a lot and see what impact is coming on our life, right? So this entire subject, yoga philosophy, right? So there are two words, and both of them are oceans in themselves, right? So yoga, we are going to discuss what yoga is in all of our classes, right? So that is one ocean, right? So today I'm not going to touch upon this big ocean, right? Because the remaining of your classes are going to be about yoga, right? Let's come to philosophy, right? Why? Because it is one of the philosophies. So it's getting its background from a bigger like school, right? So philosophy is that school, right? So first we need to understand what philosophy is and why philosophy. Why are you studying all of this? What is the meaning, right? So philosophy, this term, I will break it down into two terms, right? So you can write philosophy, right? And then you can divide it into two. All right. So it's divided as philo, 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 this term, and then Sophia, Sophia, right? So this term philo actually means love. All right. And Sophia, this term means wisdom. Wisdom or knowledge, you can say. Right? So Philo plus Sophia. Philo means love, and then Sophia means knowledge or wisdom. Okay. So from the term itself, so these are two Greek words, Philo and Sophia. These are Greek words, and so this entire term, it's made out of the combination of these two words. So the term means what? Love or knowledge. All right. Okay, so we are actually delving into something which is actually it's love, but love for knowledge. So if you would ever, go on Google and Google philosopher, you will find them with glasses, you'll find them with books, right? So Western philosophy was more about love for knowledge. So knowledge and wisdom are a little bit different from each other. And the way in which philosophy is approached by different people, it is kind of different. So in the Western world, it is more about the knowledge aspect, okay? But Indian philosophy is more spiritual in nature, right? Um, spiritual meaning more of a direct experience. Now, I will tell you a lot of things, no? But the ones that you have experienced, you will be able to understand them better, right? So Western was more about trying to understand everything, right? But Indian is more about trying to understand oneself, right? And this understanding of your own being is going to make you understand everything around you, right? So the approach was slightly different, right? In both Indian and Western, right? So Indian focuses more on doing the things and then seeing what impact it is having on you, right? If I tell you, this is God, that is God, right? So you guys, you will, because I'm your teacher, maybe for the classes, you will say, okay, let me believe this, right? But then after the classes, you will be like, who is God, right? Because you have never experienced that thing, right? Now I keep saying, this is how God looks, that is how God looks, right? And you will be like, I have no clue, right? Why? Because it is not on your experience, right? So Indian philosophy greatly emphasizes on the experience part and says that believe something that you have experienced rather than everybody else telling you, do this, do that, this is right, this is wrong. It says your experience will tell. All you have to do is be more connected to yourself in order to understand what is good for you, what is bad for you. The whole world is functioning like this. People are telling this is right, this is wrong, this is good, this is bad. But still we are unable to follow. Why? Because we somewhere along this line got more into knowledge and got disconnected from our own selves, right? So we don't know if it is right or wrong. We are just following like that. Yeah. And unless and until it doesn't come on your experience, you will not follow it for very long, right? So your parents will tell you, or your people around you who care for you will tell you, eat this, eat that, right? But after a while, when they go away, you stop consuming those things. Why? You know they're good for you. You know you have the knowledge, but you are not able to follow up on those things. So this comes from this gap, right? So if you go into Western philosophy, yes, it's very beautiful. It has its own beauty, but Indian philosophy was always seen more as implementation, right? So that's the difference between your wisdom and your knowledge, right? Wisdom comes when you practice something. And yoga philosophy is nothing else. We are only going to try to practice as much as possible, right? So you're going to do the same actions, but your intentions will change now. This will change the quality of your entire practice, right? It's just the intention behind it that will change, right? So love for knowledge. Now in Sanskrit, we have this term. So philosophy, this term is a very loose translation of the term darshan. DARSHAN, darshan. So in India, we say Yog Darshan, right? And there is no direct translation of this term. So when we translate one word from one language to the other language, so it loses some essence in between, right? If I say darshan, it sounds so different, it feels so different, right? And then I say philosophy, it sounds so different, it feels so different, right? So this term darshan is actually, because we are going to be studying Indian philosophy only, for us this term darshan is very important, right? So darshan is again derived from the root word drishya. DRISH, which means to see or to observe. Again, same thing that I have explained to you before I gave this meaning is exactly this. Now you see, the meaning of philosophy is love for knowledge. But as soon as we come to darshan, we are coming in the observation mode, right? We are observing, we are trying to see something, right? So this observation is actually which is going to bring you to that experience. If you don't stop and you don't observe, how will you notice, right? So when you go to some new place, you observe everything so closely, so you get to know about that place very well. Then you come back home, you miss the little things, right? Why? Because you are so used to, right? So this observation will help you to come to that experience, nothing else. We don't stop and observe, we have stopped doing that, right? So observation also of what? Of not the external things. So I gave you an example of external observation, but observation of your own self, right? Whenever we talk of darshan, we are not trying to observe something which can be seen. We are always trying to observe something which cannot be seen, right? Like I gave the example of God, right? Or something, any other thing you can take. I'm not telling you to believe in God or not to believe in God, right? But it's something which cannot be seen, right? So when we talk of darshan, we are actually trying to observe something which cannot be seen, right? And this entire philosophy, philosophy, why did it even come into existence? No, right? Do you ever question this? Why? Why are we having this yoga philosophy classes, right? Because we as human beings, we have two very good qualities, right? One, we are very curious. Okay. So if you place somebody in a new environment, place a human being, right? The human being will go and explore, right? They have this curiosity to get to know, right? And they are also blessed with this higher ability of the mind where they can process. So only my curiosity will not support me, right? If I'm curious, okay, I'll roam around everywhere, but I also try to understand, right? That is another quality that the human being has been given, right? So I'm curious, so I want to explore everything, I want to understand everything around me, and then I also have the ability to understand, right? Both the things are combined in a human being, right? So we were curious from the very beginning, we were very curious. Where are we? Where are we placed? What we have to do? What is this? What is that? That is what has led to all the advancement, right? Today we have so much technology, so many things, right? So it's a curiosity which drives us, right? And it's the higher ability of the mind that supports it, right? So from the very beginning, human beings have been very curious. So they want to know everything that is around them. They want to make sense of everything that is around them, right? And they also want to understand themselves. They also have this higher ability to want to understand whoever is there around them, right? Their community, the people around them, their family, people who are close to them, right? And in a deeper sense, they also want to understand themselves. We have this intense desire to understand our own selves, because the more you understand yourself, you see, the more you understand people around you also, right? So the more you get to know about yourself, your tastes, your preferences, as you grow, they change, right? Why are they changing? Because you get to know more about yourself, right? So this deep desire to get to know about everything is actually what led to the, systematization of a subject such as philosophy. This whole curiosity and desire to make sense, right? We try to make sense of everything, right? So this thing is what actually led that, okay, now we have to understand. So when you read different philosophies, you will see their own way of approaching, the things they are trying to make sense of, right? So they have their own way of seeing. So philosophy will also again give you a perspective. Okay, so you have to be careful, right? So these classes are going to give you a perspective, all right? And rest of your classes will help you to understand what I'm saying in the philosophy class. Okay, so yeah, we will have to keep up with all other classes also, right? So whatever I'm saying over here, most implementation will take place there in meditation. So guys, don't miss your meditation classes. I will repeat this over and over again in my classes. Do not miss meditation, right? Because what I'm going to be talking of, maybe it won't be that easy to observe, right? So only meditation is that thing where you go to your own observation, where you pause to observe your own self, right? So try to attend all of your classes, but meditation gives special importance, right? Because that's going to help you to stay more connected to philosophy as well, right? So they are two sides of the same coin, you can say, right? If you do one, you will get knowledge of this over here, and then whatever you get here, you will easily be able to observe that in your meditation classes as well, right? So now whenever we are trying to observe something, again there are, you know, a few aspects that we divide it into. One thing, I'm observing what? Something that is not me, right? So whatever you are trying to observe initially, it's separate from you. You are actually connecting with an object, right? So when you guys look at your thoughts, it's not you, right? You need to have this understanding, right? Because when we try to observe, we are separate. It's like I'm looking at the traffic that is going on the road, right? So thoughts are like that traffic, you know, they're just moving, right? So you are not your thoughts, right? So whatever you are trying to observe, it's the object, all right? So in darshan, how do we understand this term darshan? One is the object and one is the observer, all right? So like I am looking at my phone right now, okay? So I am separate from my phone, okay? This thing should be very clear that you are separate from your object, right? And this process where I am seeing, this process is actually what the process is darshan. It's providing you the tools to observe, right? Now, if I have, you know, like you guys saw, I was wearing specs like in the beginning, right? So means I have what? A number in my eye, right? So I need this thing to observe, look properly at the screen, no? Right? So this tool is what the darshan. This is allowing me to look at the object, right? I have eyes, right? The phone is here. So I am here, the phone is here. But this is the tool which is helping me to look at the phone more clearly, right? So you can say darshan is that tool. It's refining everything for you. It's allowing you to see properly. It's giving you the tools the correct way. Now, on depending on what philosophy you take, the correct way also changes. Okay, so we are only going for the correct way in one of the philosophies when we do yoga philosophy, right? So I'll just share my screen with you guys so that you guys can see the six. So Indian philosophy is also further subdivided, right? So in order to just know those divisions, you guys should know, because in case you want to read up about any other philosophy, right? So you should have that basic knowledge. So let me just give me a moment. I'll share my screen with you guys. You can see the various schools that are there of Indian philosophy, right? Till now, do you guys have any doubts? Any doubts from anyone? You can unmute yourself, ask me, feel free. All right. Okay. Let me just share my screen. Mm. All right. Can you guys see on the screen? This is how Indian philosophy is classified, right? There are two major or broad categories that we have. One is your Astic orthodox schools, and then one side we have the Nastic or heterodox schools. Yeah. So Astic is more like the traditional approach, you can say, and Nastic was a different approach. I'll tell you how they are different, right? So you can see we have 6 divisions in the Astic schools, right? So you guys can note it down. Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Mimamsa, and Vedanta. These are the 6 schools in Orthodox, and then in heterodox we have Buddhism, Jainism, and Charvak. So just let me know once you guys have written. You can maybe drop a thumbs up in the chat box so that I can know, and then I'll proceed. All right. I'll just wait for a few more moments. How about the others? All right. Great. Okay. So now I'll just keep this screen like this only, right? So Astic schools are more about, so when you come to Indian philosophy has its basis on the scriptures called Vedas, 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 okay? So we have 4 Vedas, and they are 4 in number. Right? And the basis of the Indian philosophy, it comes from these, you can say these are like scriptures or texts, right? So when you look at the Vedas, the orthodox schools, they are accepting whatever the Vedas are saying. All right. So whatever was given in the Vedas, it was true. And then they came up with their philosophies. All right. So Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Mimamsa, Vedanta, all of these, they do not deny or go against the Vedas. They say whatever is written in the Vedas, it is true. All right. No negation at any point of time. And then they gave their own perspective of looking at the things, right? And you will see these are written in a very particular format also, right? So there is a pairing, all right? So two schools are paired together. These 2 are paired together. Then these 2 are paired together. These 2 are a pair. So there is a pairing that is there. Yeah. And this pairing also again has its own relevance. So you are like, I will take the example which is most relevant for us. So Sankhya and Yoga. Okay, so Sankhya is giving the theory. Basically, one school is giving the theory and the other school is giving the implementation, right? So Sankhya gives the theory, right? What the world is made up of, what is the division and what one has to do ideally to reach the final point, right, of that philosophy, right? And then yoga, you will see yoga is giving us the ways of doing it, right? Like you do your asana practice, you do pranayama, you do your meditation, right? So these things, they are giving you direct implementation, right? So in that same way, Nyaya Vaisheshika, Mimamsa Vedanta, these are also divided on this basis only. If you want to understand yoga philosophy more deeply, you can go ahead and read Sankhya, right? Because a lot of things that Sankhya philosophy is giving, yoga is accepting directly again, right? So it's accepting those things directly, right? And there is no negation. So it will help you to understand yoga more deeply, right? Then the other side came along as well, right? So Nastic is heterodox, right? So over here, they neither agreed with the Vedas, they did not deny the Vedas also, right? They said that let us experience. So these are more of experiential kind of forms, right? Whatever it's true, whatever is like on my experience, it is true for me, right? Everything else, I don't know, right? I will not say it's not true, but I don't know. All right. So if you come to Buddhism, Jainism, and Charvak, these three schools, you will see that they have emphasized on the working part a lot, right? So if you have ever come across any Buddhist kind of practice, so they are more practice oriented, right? They are less, you know, uh, believe in this, believe in that. You will never see people who are in Buddhism or Jainism, right? These are more famous than Charvak, right? Charvak is now becoming a little bit more known, right? But earlier Buddhism and Jainism had a lot of people were practicing that, right? So they also believe in the practices more, and they say whatever I will experience while I'm doing all of this is true for me. Rest everything, when it becomes true, it becomes true, right? So they are not accepting the Vedas, all right, whatever the Vedas have said, and nor are they denying whatever the Vedas have said, right? So these are your different schools, right? So any doubts so far, guys, from anyone? Yeah.
I have one question. In this Nastika, the Buddhism you're talking about, is it the Nichiren Buddhism or it's some other Buddhism?
No, so Buddhism was later on divided into different schools.
Okay.
Buddhism, Jainism, these are not like all of these divisions came on later, right? Buddhism is talked of as a whole, right? Okay. Any doubts from anybody? No? All right. So these schools, if you want to read, you can read more about them. We are specifically going to cover yoga philosophy, right, in these classes. And now that I have given you a background and a basis, right, for what we are going to do in our future classes, let's just briefly discuss upon the term yoga also, right? Because we are going to do the yoga philosophy, right? So, what do you guys understand by yoga? First, you guys tell me, right? Then I will. Tomorrow we will have a deep discussion on this, but today just to begin with, what do you understand by yoga? You guys joined yoga teacher training course, right? So for you, what is it? I want to know. Anybody? Any responses? What image you had in your mind?
Yoga is everything that is around us. It's like a union of our mind, body, and soul.
All right. Okay, great. What else? Anything else? Anyone?
It is a form by which a person can have a better understanding of thyself. It's like a person might not necessarily be spiritual enough, or might be having that perfect flexibility or do for doing the asanas or anything. But for me, yoga is like finding and believing in yourself, and appreciating what is happening around. So it is like connecting yourself to what nature is giving you. So that is what my understanding stands.
All right, great. Anyone else? Do you guys want to add what mind you came with? Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it was before, a couple of years before, it was only a technique, to be more connected with my body. But especially in the last year, it becomes more and more a teacher for me about how to deal with life. And yeah, I'm learning a lot about myself, and I didn't expect it when I started with the yoga. It was more like doing some asanas and doing some pranayama, and now it's so much more, and I'm really grateful for that.
All right. Any more responses from anyone? All right. So today I'm just going to briefly touch upon this term, right? And tomorrow we will delve deeply, like I said. Okay. So first thing, even though today we see it as yoga, it's actually yog, Y-O-G, yog, right? So yoga, like as the word changes, like I told you, from one language to the other, of which time yog became yoga. So you see, a lot of the essence was lost, right? So today yoga is seen as what? When you use the term yoga, what do people say? Oh, we'll practice certain postures, or oh, we will do some breathing work, right? Or oh, maximum we will do some cleansing of the body, right? We will do shat karma, right? But beyond that, it doesn't go beyond. So people say yoga and meditation, right? When you use the term yog is meditation in itself. No, meditation is not separate from yoga, right? So you'll see a lot of people these days, they write yoga and meditation. Meditation is a part, right? It's the part which will help you. Before that, it's preparation, and even meditation is preparation, right? So whatever you guys are doing in all of your classes, you are not doing yoga, you are preparing for yoga, you are preparing for the union, right? Yog, this term is derived from the root word yuj, Y-U-J, to unite. This is a state, right, that you reach to. There is a union that takes place, right? But everything you are doing before it, your asana, your pranayama, your meditation, everything is driving you where? All the effort is being put over which place, right? To reach that union, right? So yoga is actually that end point, that state of mind, where there is union. Okay, so you can, next time when you go and give classes, you can say, I'm preparing you, I'm helping you to prepare, right? Like, how you have to prepare for an exam, and then you go and give the exam, right? So this is all the things you are doing in your classes, you are doing the preparation so that you become ready for the final exam, no? Right? And what is this, this union? This is the point where you can eliminate or finish all the sufferings. Not one, not two, right? Not 3 or 10 you have if you are suffering and dealing with 10 things. No. you have this great process to eliminate all the sufferings on all the levels, your body, your mind, maybe your emotions, right? However you are suffering and struggling through those, it's the way in which there is harmonizing, right? So now sometimes what happens, mind is thinking differently, but you do different actions, no? So there is a conflict, right? Your actions are different, but your thought process is different. This happens with a lot of us, we think differently and we act differently. So what does yoga do? It harmonizes, now you're thinking something, then you are also doing that same thing, right? So whenever you are free to express yourself, right, wherever you feel that is your safe space, right, you feel very relaxed and calm, no? Why? Because whatever you are thinking, you don't have to lie about it, right? You can be very open, you can express whatever you want to express, right? And that gives us so much relief, right? So whatever we are thinking, that comes in our action as well, right? And whatever our action is, that is how our thinking is, right? So this discord which caused between these two things, it causes a lot of chaos in life, right? So first thing you can understand, it's the harmonizing of all your different aspects. So your emotions are aligning more with your thoughts are aligning more with your actions, right? And if you believe in something like a soul, right, then that pure energy is seeping down and coming to your emotions, your mind, your actions, right? It's nothing else. That is why I told you, it's just a way of living, it's just a way of existing, right? Where you begin, as you go into the process, you begin to harmonize, right? And harmony with another very tangible thing is the nature. Okay. So yogi, never goes against the nature. You will see this thing. The yogi has a very strong recognition, and the awareness is so heightened, right? That not even one single action is against nature, right? So same for you guys. So like for you guys, if you live in cities, right? So when you go on a vacation, no, so when you go to the hills, maybe to the beach, right, so you're closer to nature. So you will see automatically when you go to such areas, you wake up early in the morning, right? Or maybe you do something which you generally don't do in the city, right? Or consume food in a different manner, sleep more timely, right? So the closer you are to nature, the more in sync with it you get, right? And yoga is all about getting in sync, you know, within yourself and with the nature around. Yogi will never harm anybody around them, right? We will talk more on this thing also, how yogi lives and leads the life, right? Why? Because each and every action, he can see the consequence, he can see how it is impacting. He is aware of how he or she is conducting themselves, right? So it's harmonizing yourself also with the environment that you are in. Now that doesn't mean if you live in a city you are like you know even though it grows on us, right? But we are living more in a harming way when we live in the city. So by environment, I actually mean the real, nature and the environment, which is at all times it is telling us, it tells us when to wake up, when to sleep, when to eat, you know, when to bathe, what is the correct timing for these things, right? And this correct, I'm not saying because it's correct. You are getting a direct indication, your body, it speaks. If you listen closely to your body will tell you when it is hungry, when it wants to wake up, when it wants to sleep, right? So you get more connected with this thing as you go through this process, right? And the final point is when you are not separate from your external, right? It, you understand you are a part of it, not because I'm saying it, right? You experience that thing, that oneness, that is experienced by the yogi. That is why, if you don't experience something, how will you change your action? No, right? It's so difficult, right? So only very few people, they listen to something and they immediately change their way of living. It happens very rarely, right? So it's more about how you are experiencing, right, this harmony. So as the classes proceed, guys, today you can write a diary, right, and just see where you are when you are beginning. What kind of thoughts you are having. Maybe you can jot that down or whatever. Just jot down in a way your first day of beginning your journey, right? And by the end, by your 26th, 27th day, I'll ask you to journal again, right? And then you will see the difference that has come, right? Don't expect when there are going to be any miracles. It's a very slow process, okay? So you have to be very patient with yourself. But if you know today where you are, I can guarantee you that by the end of your course, there are going to be changes. This is one guarantee I can provide. I cannot provide guarantee for everything. But this one guarantee, if you follow through with a dedication, right, with that level of dedication, you are attending all your classes, you are doing everything, right, you are going to see a change. You are going to see this harmonization become a part of how you exist, rather than it being merely a concept which is discussed, no, right? So any doubts from anyone? No doubts from anyone? All right. So guys, tomorrow we are going to discuss what yoga is, right? So we are going to end today's session. So sit comfortably wherever you are. Keep your back and neck straight. And very gently close your eyes. Just begin to observe your breathing. We will chant Om one time, followed by 3 Shantis. Inhale deeply for Om. Om. Shanti. 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 Just observe the impact of the chanting. Join both your palms together and gently bow down. We will begin our day with a sense of gratitude. So just feel the gratitude and say a mental thank you to everything you have in your life. Begin to rub your palms together. Keep them on your eyes. Very slowly blinking and looking at your palms. Begin to open up your eyes, start coming back with a smile. And namaste to everyone. I will see you all in your pranayam class in the afternoon. Take care, guys, and bye-bye.